Welcome to the Creative Real Estate Agent, the place to get actionable ideas on how to supercharge your real estate business by tapping into your creativity so you could smash your goals and have time left over to do your thing. I am your host, Anastasia Forrest, broker associate with eXp Realty and creative person. In this episode, I had an opportunity to chat with Alicia Maddox, a realtor working out of Northern Georgia, who is doing inspiring and creative things with her Instagram account, Happy Hour Home. Alicia brings to her real estate practice a background in finance, sales, and marketing, but says that the majority, if not all the things she is doing with Instagram are skills she's picked up along the way, which is certainly encouraging to the rest of us as it suggests that successful social media marketing is accessible to pretty much anyone. We touched on the importance of focusing on one platform, where your people are, getting online leads into your funnel and converting them into sales. Alicia also shared her strategy for planning and recording content in such a way that it keeps her consistent in theme and in output. I will say we had a few technical difficulties, including me still working to get my mic sound correct, and with Alicia's incoming notification alerts dinging every so often. However, my fearless husband and partner in all things amazing, Sean, worked his audio editing magic and improved the quality, so overall, I hope any deficit in audio quality is more than made up for in an abundance of high-quality content. Without further ado, here's our conversation. Thank you so much for being here, Alicia. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and you're being way too kind.
I can tell that you know what you're doing. And I think that might be partly because of your background. Can you share a little bit about what you did before you got into real estate?
Yeah, sure. So before real estate, which I actually got my license in 2020 of August. So I haven't been licensed all that long. It's been about 8 months, but I've completely just dived into it and went for it, and I love it. I couldn't see myself doing anything else besides real estate. But before, I was in a traveling sales role. So I was traveling mainly in the US, a little bit out of the country, really just Canada, Mexico, and I was selling was really a membership and a service, but the price point was 25,000 to 100,000. So it was a pretty big purchase price, and it wasn't, you just call someone and say, hey, do you want to buy this? And they buy it. It's all about the relationship building. And that's really similar to real estate. You don't just call someone, well, typically you don't just call someone and then they buy from you the next day. You really nurture them, build that relationship. So I kind of already had that experience. I had about 4 years experience doing that. So it was a smooth transition coming into real estate.
Oh, wow. I didn't connect the dots earlier, but so you started real estate during the height of the pandemic, huh? Is that right?
Right. So I was trying to get my license 6 months prior to the pandemic. But like I said, I was traveling and I was super busy with other jobs. So it just kept getting put off on the back burner. And then COVID hit. So I was home and I got my license. I finished the schooling. I was doing it online with Barney Fletcher. And I guess it was March when I was like, okay, let me get this done. And then by July, I had finished the course, was ready to take the test, and then got licensed in August. And luckily I passed the first time because with COVID, they were pushing your dates out like 60 days. If you took the test, you'd have to wait 60 more days for a slot to open up. So I knew I had to pass that first time.
Yeah, I was actually working on my broker license during that same time. And I remember I ended up taking my test from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. I actually took the test in in a brick and mortar, but it was very isolated.
Yeah, I hear you. You mentioned to me that you have a bachelor's in marketing and finance. Is that right?
Yeah, so I graduated from Georgia Southern University. If you know where that's at, it's near Savannah, Georgia. And I got a business degree just because when you go to college, do you really know what you're going to college for? And I minored in finance because I didn't know anything about saving money, paying bills. So I just thought that'd be smart of me. But the degree was mainly just to get that business degree. And I got into my first job. But really in real estate, you don't necessarily need a degree. So today I'm just kind of using my skills from my previous job.
It seems to have influenced the way that you communicate with your
sphere and your audience. To me, I don't know. You seem like you're better than the average Instagram user. I don't.
Thank you. Well, honestly, everything that I've learned has really been from just playing with social media. I don't think I necessarily learned anything getting my degree doing that. In fact, they don't really, when I was going to school, I graduated in 2017, they weren't really teaching social media heavily yet. I'm
Oh,
sure
wow.
they are now.
Yeah.
And I know that social media was kind of coming about, but as far as personal branding, they weren't really teaching that as much. Kind of the basics, of marketing. So I would say my marketing knowledge of Instagram has just come from the past 8 months or so of just figuring it all out.
Okay, trial and error. Well, that's encouraging to everybody that, doesn't want to go to college or can't afford college. And
You don't need a college degree to figure out social media.
I hear you. I studied philosophy, religion, and then music therapy, and
Okay.
I'm doing real estate. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get into more about the platform and what you're doing on Instagram, what made you want to get into real estate?
Yeah, so I love this question because it's not what you would think. So like I said, I was trying to get my license when I was still with my other job because I had bought a house prior, probably 8 months prior to before even considering getting into real estate. And my agent actually, she encouraged me to get into it because she was new when she sold me my house, but she did an awesome job. You wouldn't really have even known she was new. She got me a great deal, got me the house of my dreams. And I just was like, I want to do this for other people. I remember being so nervous, so scared, so clueless. And she walked me through all of it. She made it seem like no big deal. And buying a house is a big deal, especially for your first time. So I just decided I really want to be able to do that. I wanted to make an impact on others' lives. So she encouraged me to get into it. And actually, by the time I got my license, she moved over to new home consulting. So she's not in resale, she's in new construction, but she's still in real estate.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, that's neat. That's funny. I think the last person I interviewed said, he was inspired by the person he bought his home through, the realtor.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, so it just shows you if you have a great experience with someone, how it can just open your eyes to maybe I want to do that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Was social media like one of the first things you thought of when you just were kind of trying to figure out where to get leads? Like, is that your main focus?
Um, so it's interesting because when I was getting my license, I started my social media page. I knew that I wanted to have a presence on social media. So I started a home and decor and happy hour page. So that's where the happy hour home came from. And I knew I could intertwine real estate with that. My goal was to be this big mega account before I got licensed, which obviously didn't work out. And then when I did get licensed, I just kind of rolled it into and then became more of a real estate page with kind of pillars of happy hour and home decor as part of my brand. When I actually got into real estate and you pass a test and you're like, wow, I did so much. And then you really start from zero. And everyone tells you to start door knocking, cold calling, and doing all that. And it really wasn't my thing. Coming from sales, you would think like it should be no big deal for me to just get on the phones, but I wanted to relationship build. I didn't want to spam people. And I thought I was going to lose friends by calling them and saying, hey, who do you know that wants to buy or sell? So with social media, it just felt more natural. And the great thing about social media is you're attracting your ideal client if you're doing it right, and they come to you.
Yeah,
So you don't have to necessarily spam people.
totally. I completely can relate to that. Where did you come up with the home matchmaker? Where did that come in?
So I think that came from I wanted to brand myself with kind of like a phrase. And when I think of finding homes for people, it is like a matchmaking process. You find a person in the home, and when they are a fit for each other, you match make them. So it's not necessarily the most original, but for me, I just felt like it kind of described what I want to be portrayed as.
Do you tend to work with the people that you're attracting? What is your target audience? What do they end up being? Is it like first time home buyers? Is it that age group, like 20s or?
Yeah, I mean, So I wasn't necessarily trying to attract first-time home buyers. I know when you first get started, that is a lot of what you're attracting. But really, my target audience is millennials. So anyone that's going to include first-time home buyers, just because they're younger and they might not even have a house yet, so they wouldn't have anything to sell. But I have noticed that I've worked with a lot of, honestly, it's been millennials, but from my sphere, it's not been millennials. It's been a little bit of an older range.
Interesting. I don't know. Initially, I guess I thought I would be most enjoy working with people my age or something like that. But it's funny, I've found that I actually really enjoy working with people that are retiring or retired or, in that other stage of life. But I mean, I enjoy working with all different kinds of clients, but it's interesting. You can sometimes be surprised by who you end up clicking with.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I love seeing these amazing platters that you put together with all these like cheeses and like hams. I don't know, meats. It looks very professional. I guess charcuterie.
Charcuterie. Oh, I don't know. Everyone says it different.
Yeah, and of course all the drinks. It kind of sets a person at ease to see somebody talking about something that's like can be like a heavy subject, real estate. Like you said, it's a big thing. It's a lot of people's biggest purchase that they're going to make, but you're doing it in a way that kind of helps them feel relaxed, feel like they could be like with you in like at a wine bar or
Right.
in their kitchen, and chatting, like a friend, like to a friend.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm trying to create too. I want, actually in my bio, because on Instagram you can have a little website. I say like, I'm not here to be a realtor. I'm here to help you find the home of your dreams, host your housewarming, and be your friend. So I know not everyone's looking for that. So I'm really not perfect for everyone. There's going to be some people who want to barely speak to their agent, get a very simple transaction done, and just kind of be done with it. I really would like to be involved with someone, helping them, answering questions, and being friends after.
That's awesome. Well, and then that way you build your lifelong, database and sphere, and
Right. Yeah.
and it's win-win because you're getting something out of it too, and and they're getting excellent service and personable service and friendship.
Yeah, it's all about creating an experience for people so that they remember it and they're happy with you, and they have like, I don't want someone to be in a home and then them be like, oh, I don't really enjoy this. You want it to be enjoyable for them.
Yeah, completely. Let's talk a bit about the actual meat of your ideas, like the content. Where do you come up with these ideas? Do you like think about this every day? Do you kind of let something marinate for a while before making a video, or do you just kind of go with it?
Yeah, I think it's evolved over time. So like I said, I started the page before I got into real estate. So a lot of my content was home stuff. And I actually had recently purchased my home. So I was like, let me take people on a, journey with me of me getting my house decorated, which kind of correlates with people when they buy a home. They are going through that process too. So it was another thing we could relate about. But I started just doing like taking one room at a time, and then I would talk about that. And then I started piecing in real estate. And then all of a sudden, I just became a real estate page with pillars of what my hobbies and interests were, which still included happy hour, charcuterie, fun drinks to make, and still home stuff. You have your personal brand, and then you have pillars of what you just naturally like to talk about, and that what your ideal client will be attracted to as well. So like, I wouldn't, like, let's say you were really targeting investors, your page would be completely different, and you might really like golf, so you would tie golf into your page as well. So it's just whatever your interests are. But as far as creating content, I take a whole month, and I piece it into 4 weeks, and I'll piece each week into one topic, and then I'll create content. Sorry.
Somebody's really trying to get a hold of you.
I know. That, when you list a home, you're like, everyone's calling you all of a sudden. But sorry. So yeah, I will create a week out of content. So I'll put what my goal is. Am I trying to grow my email list? Am I trying to grow followers? Obviously, we're always trying to grow clients, but whatever you're focusing on will expand. So let's say for 1 month, I want to really focus on home buyers. So I might do a week of first-time home buyers, a week of the process of home buying, and just kind of intertwine that. And then I will piece video content with the static posts. So on Instagram, you have your feed posts, your reels, Instagram TVs. You can do guides now. So I will put the whole week of content. It'll match. It'll all be about the same topic.
Wow.
And that makes it easier for me to come up with it, because if you're trying to come up with something different every day, it's crazy. Like when I first started, and real estate's fast paced, you're busy, you have things going on. So if you're trying to come up with, what do I talk about today? And then you just post something, your audience can tell when you just kind of throw something out there. So it's easier if you break it down and intentionally take some time to think about what you're going to post.
Wow, I didn't realize that you planned it so meticulously. That's a helpful strategy.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, so for me, my business is based around social media. So I have most of my strategy built in with social media. I'm not necessarily doing mailers or door knocking or cold calling. So my strategy is social media.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've gotten the most traction out of Instagram compared to the other platforms?
Yeah, so Instagram's just my favorite platform. I personally think it's the most user friendly, and it's where my people are. So with Facebook, I mean, Facebook owns Instagram, but my people really aren't on Facebook. So I post on there. I'll repost some things that I do on Instagram, but like I said, most of my people are on Instagram, so that's why I focus so much there. Some people, their people are on Facebook, so they need to focus more heavily on there. And then kind of with TikTok, I didn't really dive into TikTok so much, mainly because I was so intimidated by all of the content that people were putting out and all these dances, and I was like, I don't know if I can go that route.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah, I've noticed that getting traction on each platform is different, and you really have to take one by one. I mean, what works on Instagram might not go over on Facebook, and when you double it, people are like, why am I seeing the same thing over here? That's, I don't know. It really is. It's like, it could be a full-time job just keeping up with, if you were trying to do like rock all of those at once. It is.
Yeah. Even just doing one platform is basically a full-time job, in my opinion. So I would say you need to pick one and nail it down. And then when you have that nailed down, maybe move on to another one.
Yeah. And there's YouTube. We didn't even talk about YouTube. YouTube's
YouTube.
a potential source of lead generation for sure.
Yeah. I would say YouTube is a really great way also to get clients, but it's definitely going to take a lot of time. So Instagram takes time to get a following, but I think YouTube takes, substantial amount of time and more equipment. It's a little bit more barrier to entry just because it costs more to get started in YouTube too.
Yeah. How long do you spend each day taking your videos? How long would you say it takes you?
So I try to content block my week and I'll create content within those times where I don't have appointments or meetings or things to be doing. So it doesn't always work out like I have it planned, but I do try to spend intentional time creating content, and I spend intentional time doing like a brain dump. And, honestly, you're not always super inspired and motivated to get things done. So when I am, I really jump on that opportunity, and I'll create a whole bunch of content right then, because it could be in a week before I feel that inspired again.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel a pressure to make myself look like my best and like do my makeup and all that. And I'm like, it's so time consuming just to like look, the most presentable I can on camera. So sometimes that's even a barrier to entry for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I agree with that. I know. Yeah. So it took me a while to finally jump on like a story on Instagram without makeup on. I was like, I have to be perfectly polished. And then you realize people don't even want to see that. They want to see the real you. So it's tough to get started.
Yeah. I think for some people are very shy or don't feel comfortable on camera too. And I think that's a challenge for other people that could be marketing themselves that way.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if anyone's really comfortable on camera. I think it's something that you get used to. I was I would spend probably an hour trying to create a video because I hated the way I was talking, hated the way I sounded, hated the way I looked. And then you're like, I just spent a whole hour and I didn't even get anything done. So you have to kind of get over it. If you really don't like the way that you sound, then you probably just need to record and not even look at it before you post.
Right. And let other people enjoy it and, draw
Right.
people that are going to resonate with you to you, and the people that don't, then you've weeded them out easier.
Right, exactly. And that's what you need to be doing. It's definitely, I mean, especially like I'm still pretty new. So you think, no, I need to market to everyone because I might miss out on a buyer. Because if you're not super busy, you think that you are marketing to everyone. But once you focus on one person, that's when the momentum really starts building.
Yeah, I've heard people say, pretend like you're talking to a particular person. Like if your target audience is a, I don't know, 40-year-old woman, like pretend like you're talking to someone, her.
Yeah, I actually, I heard it was a marketing influencer. She was giving tips on how to get started in Instagram or whatever social media platform. And she was saying, talk like you're talking to someone you know. So pick someone you know that would be your ideal client. And then every single time you jump on video or every single time you write something, make it straight to that one person. So actually identify someone that you know as your ideal person and then just create everything for them. And then you won't get in that like, oh, I look and sound weird and oh, what are people going to think of me? Because that definitely happens too. It gets in your head when you think, well, these people think like they're going to think that I think I'm so great on coming on here every day. So you just had to focus on I'm helping others and that's why I'm doing this. It's not, because I'm egotistical.
Right. Yeah. And that energy comes across. I
Yeah.
think, not the egotistical energy, the serving, the wanting to help and, provide value for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one advantage we have with social media is that you can convey so much more through video. You've got your body language and just the tones of your voice. And I don't know, it's the stuff maybe we can't even put into words, but you can feel like you can connect with somebody, even if you never met them yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I was reading something that said if you're not on video by now, you're behind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going anywhere. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah. I've been kind of doing a little bit of research and of studying into funnels, and creating, like you mentioned, email lists. Are you able to leverage any of the leads that you're getting through Instagram and get them on your email list?
Yeah, so I typically like to do a lot of my talking in the DMs. So the purpose of creating content is really to create conversations and get people in your DMs. And then once you get them there, I don't automatically say, "Hey, what's your email address?" I like continue to build the relationship, and then they'll either eventually reach out and say, "Hey, I am looking to buy this year or sell," or they'll just start asking questions. And when they start asking questions, that's when I would be like, "What's your email address?" I'll set you up on a search, or I'll send you lender info, or I'll send you my 8 steps of selling, something like that. But it's just very natural and organic. I don't necessarily spam people saying, "Hey, what's your email address?" That just doesn't work.
Yeah, right. You just have to think of, would I want that? Would that work for me? Like,
I
no.
mean, I'm sure you get this. There's people every day in my requests in my DMs, and it's some kind of sales pitch, and it's like,
Oh yeah, LinkedIn too. Yeah,
oh yes, LinkedIn is bad too. Yeah.
yeah, and it's so fake. You could tell that they sent that same message to like hundreds of other people.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of it too. Like I've done it in my past job on LinkedIn. And you're
Yeah.
like, what was I doing?
Well, if you can do it well and make it work, I mean, more power to you. But it's if you have time to individually respond to that person and build the relationship, much better.
Right. Yeah. And on Instagram, it's really cool. The feature where you can talk back. You don't have to send a message. You can actually record yourself talking and send that back. And that's even more personal.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of easier sometimes if you're doing other things just to do a voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're busy. What's the market like over there? Nuts?
It is very nuts. So, I mean, like everyone else, we have less than 1 month of inventory. It's just crazy right now. I mean, we expect to see more inventory coming in with spring and summer, but I keep telling my buyers it's going to trickle in. It's not just going to all hit the market one day. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's going to be competitive probably the rest of 2021, maybe even 2022. So, I think
Yeah.
it'll slow down a little bit if interest rates keep creeping up, but it's crazy.
Are you having a lot of a big influx of Northerners from, I mean, I don't know what's going on in Georgia. Is it strict or is it kind of lax with the masking and the restrictions and stuff like that?
We're just probably not as lax as Florida, but we're pretty lax. Well, with Atlanta, it's a little bit stricter, and then so I'm in Cumming, Georgia, so we're outside of the perimeter of Atlanta, um,
Mhm.
and it's a little bit more relaxed, but it's like I can host an open house and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't think of it with all the food because you do like parties almost, right? Or like a housewarming.
Yeah, yeah. So I have one tonight actually. So I'll be doing a cocktail party for my sellers, mainly because I just want to show off their backyard. It's immaculate. So I was like, this is an opportunity to just show this beautiful house off before we go into contract.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, as far as the people moving to Georgia, I've mainly seen people from Atlanta moving to Cumming because there's no reason to be in Atlanta when they're shut down and like Atlanta's pretty strict, so they're shutting down, and there's just no point to be paying those high prices when there's nothing going on.
Right. Yeah. So where are you, oh my God, why can't I say this word? Geographically
Yeah.
in relation to Atlanta.
It's about 40 minutes if there was no traffic north.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, actually, I used to live like in the heart of Atlanta in Buckhead, and it was great, but I just wanted to have a little bit more of a suburban life.
Mhm.
I didn't want to deal with the traffic all the time, so moved a little bit further north. But it's basically Atlanta, and then you have Alpharetta and there's Atlanta, Sandy Springs, Alpharetta, and then there's Cumming where I'm at. So I actually service North Atlanta, so Sandy Springs, Alpharetta, and then all the way to Cumming.
Okay. Cool. I can think of all kinds of plays on words you could use with the coming Georgia, to even real estate related and otherwise. But
What are they? I can't. I'm like, how do I brand Cumming?
are you coming to Georgia? I don't know.
That's good.
No, it's not very good. Yeah.
It's an interesting word. It's spelled Cumming. So
Oh boy. Yeah, that's
I don't usually market that word as much.
yeah, that's a tough one. It's hard to get rid of the other associations.
Exactly.
So let's let everybody know if they might be moving to the area where you service, how they might get a hold of you and utilize your services.
Yeah, of course. So I'm always on my phone. You can contact my cell number. Always on Instagram. So typically people do reach out through the DMs on Instagram, and then we connect offline on the phone later. But yeah, my Instagram is happyhour_home, and I'm mainly on that platform and mainly on my phone.
Cool. Well, yeah, you got to check Alicia's Instagram account out. I'm serious. It's really good. And whether you're a realtor or not, I don't know, for realtors, I think for me, it's like, wow, I don't have time to do all this, but this is good. She's got it going on with
I'm
Instagram.
trying.
Yeah, it's very creative. Everything from, like I said, from the like food and drinks to home decor and education, like just educating about real estate. And I don't know, good job, Alicia.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I'm like going to walk around with my head high today.
Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to connect. It's been such a pleasure getting to chat with you today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation between myself and Alicia Maddox. If you happen to be interested in real estate or in joining a real estate brokerage that can help you to massively grow your passive income so that you can have more time to do the things you love, like being creative, I'd love to chat with you about joining my EXP team. Check out my website, www.creativerealestateagents.com. I am starting to fill it up with more and more content as time goes on,
and you can definitely set up an appointment to chat there. Stay tuned, and until next time, stay creative.